right? Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. The last class we were talking about read lines, right? And we saw how to read a file, okay, using read line and read lines, correct? Did we do write also?
No.
Okay, so now we will do the write, okay? How to do the write, okay? So let's say, I'll create an object to write to a file, okay? So I'm going to say file obj equal to open, okay? Now C colon double slash, okay? Let's go back and see the drive that we have here. We'll put it in, I think I created one folder. Wait. Let's say we go to users, okay? User may not be a good idea, wait. Or let's create some folder. Test, something like this, okay? So I'm going to say C test, right? And I'm going to give a name called content.txt, okay? And I'm going to say open in W mode, okay? So I'm going to open in W mode. W mode is to write to the file, isn't it? So now you go and you say write. So I'm going to say file object, okay, dot write, okay, and here I'm going to write say hello, how are you? So here you only have write lines and write. You don't have write line, okay? So if you want to write a line, you can give it in text, something like hello, how are you? And when I run it, okay, and go, see here, content is created. When you click it, hello, how are you, right? Now to do write lines, okay, I'm going to comment it, okay, and I'm going to say, so write lines, multiple lines are stored as list. So I'll go to create a sample list equal to, okay, I am fine, doing good, enjoying life, let's say. Okay, now when you run it, you go back and what happened? Oh, I didn't do write lines. Right? So file obj dot write lines, and I'm going to say sample list, right? And you go back and you click on it to see I'm fine, doing good, okay, enjoying life. Two things to see. All the lines got added as a single line. One. The second thing, how are you got deleted, right? How are you got deleted, isn't it? So, okay, so what we need to do here is we need to go back, okay, add /n. /n will add the new line, okay? And when you're doing write, it will clear the previous content, okay? The write will clear the previous content. So if you don't want previous content to be cleared or deleted, you should open in append mode. If I go here and say A, okay? Now when you run it, and you check, read function is read and write. Function is read and write, okay? But the mode is read, write, append. Okay, so see, I am fine, doing good, enjoying life. This was the previous content. This did not get deleted when I open in A mode, append mode. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm fine, doing good, got added here, and see, since I gave /n and end of fine, the doing good came in next line. Okay, enjoying life came in next line. So if you want it to happen in different line, you have to give /n, right?
Okay.
So that's how you can handle text file.
Hmm.
Okay, now we'll talk about CSV file. What is CSV file?
CSS files, no.
CSV,
HTML and all.
CSV, not CSS.
CSV.
CSS is your style sheets, right? When you develop websites. So here I'm talking about CSV, comma separated files,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So in comma separated files, information will be stored in columns in an Excel file. Okay. For that matter, any so uh, let's say mm, I create a text file. Okay. I name it as stats.csv. Okay. And I can open it in Notepad also. Okay, so here first I gave the column header. So I say ID, name, age, city. Okay, and now
Hmm.
I say Sachin. Now see, each value is separated by comma. So if I say Sachin, Sachin went into, okay, so first is ID, right? So let's say I give 101.
Hmm.
So ID will go into 101 will go into ID under ID column.
ID.
Here in Sachin, I can give Tendulkar as well. Okay, now anything that I type, okay, pipe, star, and all these things will be under name only, because we call it comma separated. Comma indicates that the value is different column.
Unless we
Value is in different column, right? The comma.
okay.
Then you have age, let's say 43, comma, city, Mumbai. Then 102, Lakshman, okay. Okay. Now the space will be added to 44. So it's better remove this space. I'm going to save it. And most of the data that you will do analysis will come as CSV file. Okay.
Okay.
So see, when you open in Excel, automatically you'll see that data is put in different columns. Okay. So say this ID, name, age. Okay. This is called CSV,
Hmm.
comma separated values. Okay. CSV stands for comma separated values, and file that contains comma separated values are called CSV file.
Hmm.
Okay. Now
Yes.
let's come back here and we'll see how to read a CSV file.
Okay.
Okay. So for that we have to import CSV. Okay. Once you import, we need to open the file just like this is the only thing. Okay. We have to open, and here uh, you have CSV reader and CSV writer to read and write to the file. Okay. So I'm going to say with open, okay, stats.csv, right? I'm going to say C test, right? C stats.csv, okay, as the object. So as CSV file, something like this. I give, and I'll say CSV reader equal to CSV dot reader. Okay, the the file object here that we have, CSV file, isn't it? CSV reader this, okay, and yeah, so we have something called as delimiter. Okay, so you can add delimiter, but anyway, default delimiter is comma only, so it should be okay. Now it is in the it will have all the content. Will have all the content. Now you can simply do print, or we can handle the line by line command. Okay, so first line that we will be reading will be the column header, right? And then there will be the values, isn't it?
Right.
So let's say I'm going to say default line count is 0. Okay, line count is 0, and I'm going to say for line in CSV reader. Okay, if okay, if line count equal to 0, that means we are on the first line, isn't it? First I've set line count as 0. Now I'm checking if it is, so of course it is the first time. Then you can say print, okay, and you know, I'm going to say print columns are something like this. Okay, line is what will have all the content, right? And then I will change the line count to line count plus 1. Okay, else you have the data, right? So okay, so you can say print data is, and you can say line, right? And here too we will add the rest, so that we know exactly which line you are talking about, right? Now let's run this and see. So see, columns are ID, name, age, and city. Data is 10. This is the first row, then second. Okay, it'll keep on doing like that. And all the data that you have got is in list format. If I want to print just the name, what I'll do? Okay, same program, I'll try to modify. Okay, so same program, I'll try to modify to just to read names. Okay, so I'm going to do that. If line count equal to 0, do nothing, right? Because we don't want column headers, we want just names. Or we can just say names equal to, okay? So I'm going to say pass, do nothing. Now here else, okay, simply I'm going to remove this. Line is a list, name is in second position, so 1, isn't it? Okay, and line equal to line plus 1, we have to do it. So sorry, this I missed it. Otherwise, line will always remain 0, isn't it? You get an infinite loop. Okay, you see names, nothing to the previous lecture. Okay, man, it's all about reading. Once you read it, it's all about the Python logic that we have done so far.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is about reading. You can write as well. Okay. Okay, so let's say I'm going to add one more row to this file. So I'm going to say, okay, one second. Okay, so now we will write to a file. Okay, so I'm going to open it in, see, when you do not provide any mode, it opens in read mode. Now I want to write. To write, I have to do in write mode, isn't it?
Right.
So I'm going to say with open. Okay, I'm going to put a new file. Okay, or let's say you want to put the in same file. Okay, let's put in the same file. So I'm going to say C test slash stats, right?
Yes, dot CSV.
.csv, then mode equal to append, and I'll say if you encounter blank, then it should be new line. New line equal to blank. Okay, and as, and I'll give some file object something. Okay, so colon. Okay, then I'm going to say file writer, something like that. File writer equal to csv.writer. Okay, and then first you give the um, the 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 handle, okay, the object, so it knows where to go and write, right? Then delimiter, what delimiter it should add. Okay, delimiter is comma, in comma
So what's the
separated
use of
file.
delimiter?
Sorry.
What's the use of delimiter?
Okay, so this delimiter, okay, so you see by default in comma separated file, comma is a delimiter. Okay, the value that separates is called delimiter.
Acha, acha.
Okay, so okay, you can use any other thing as well. You can use semicolon, pipe, as well as delimiter. Okay, so by default we are using comma only. Okay, so if it is comma, you don't even have to mention it. Okay, so okay, so delimiter, and then you have code car. Okay, code char. Okay, so if to indicate that which character is quotation. Okay, and then you can say quoting minimal. QUOTING looks correct. Dot quote minimal. Okay, this is to add text. Okay, now you'll say okay, file writer that we have here, file writer dot writer row. Okay, you can write multiple rows as a list, a single row. So here I'm going to pass a single row, and I'm going to say here, okay, first is ID, right? So I'm going to add 105. Then is the name, right? So I used double quotation as code car, right? So I'm going to say Kapil Dev something, let's say. Okay. Then next one was what? Age.
Age. And
Then
this
we
one.
had city. Okay. Now if you run it, no error, you go back and you check it. Hopefully Kapil Dev would be added. Uh-oh, see. So what happened? We did not do a new line. So I got added here. Okay.
Mhm.
So what we can do here is I'm going to delete it for now. Okay.
105 also.
So I'm going to save it. Sorry. Here I'm going to say so see it got added. Okay, so what we did was we did not give anything next to it. So it printed blank. If you want it to print correctly, you will add it here itself.
Then you can give that. Yeah.
Okay, if you add, it will be added in the same. Okay, so this is how you write CSV file. Okay, the last file type that we'll talk about is called a JSON file. Okay, so JSON is you must have worked with XML, isn't it? In your college? Yes.
So what you said?
You must have worked with XML file, isn't it?
XML? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Java and all we did.
Sorry, which file you did? YAML.
No, we did not do like XML file.
Okay. So JSON is a file format, okay, that is based on the dictionary file format that we have in Python. Okay. So let's say I'm going to write one JSON file. So I'm going to say content, okay, dot JSON. Okay. Okay, I'll open this with Notepad. Okay. So I told you this is like the dictionary template that we have. So you add bracket. So there has to be there will be a matching closing bracket also for curly bracket. Now you put column and value, ID and value, ID and value. Sorry. So I can say ID equal to 101, comma. Okay. Okay. So here, since ID is text, we will give in quotation. Okay. Since ID is text, we give quotation here. And for number, we don't have to give. Okay. Now let's say first name. First name, colon, search it, comma. Last name, Tendulkar. Now let's say I put something like hobbies. Okay. Hobbies again has to be quotation. Okay. And I want to put this as a list of values. Fine. So I'm going to say playing, dancing, singing. Okay. Then I'm going to say age, 45, right? Now let's say we can have children. So see this. I said it is like a dictionary value only, right? And JSON files are new, the newest file formats. and they look something like this. Okay, now we can have, let's say, children, right? Now children, okay, can be, okay, so what I want to do is, so there are two children, okay, so I want to add two children values. So I'm going to as a, okay, I'm going to add as a list, okay, and for each list I want to add as a dictionary. Okay, see, if one value is there, then you can add a list. Okay, but if there are multiple values, like let's say age and name and age, right? So you have two values. So you have two values, then you have to use dictionary, isn't it? So I'm using dictionary inside a dictionary, right? So here children, there are two children, so there are two different set of values. I'm adding as two values as a list, and then each value can be complex, right? Can have uh, you know uh, what do you call name and age. So I'm going to say name, okay, and I give some value here, let's say, okay, age, okay. Now same thing I will copy and put it here, okay. I say June, and let's say I put 20, okay. So this is how JSON file is read, okay, sorry, this JSON file template is created, okay. We will read it, okay, to see if it is reading correctly or not, okay. So okay, so here we will see four different values here, okay. So JSON has dumps, okay, loads. Okay, so difference is the data can be in your Python program itself already loaded for somehow, and you need to operate, or it could be in file, right? So how I remember is that S stands for string. So if you're handling the file which is already read, you will do loads and dumps. Okay, load string and dump string. Okay, that's how I remember. If it is in file, then you don't have to use S. You have to say load and dump. Load is to read from file, and dump is to write to file. Load is to read, and dump is to write. Okay. So let's say I want to, I have this file, right? So I go here and I'll say import JSON. So you have to use JSON in order to work with JSON file. And I'll say with open, okay, C colon slash test slash, what was that? Content.json, right? Content, oh, is it content.text? Content on JSON, okay, on JSON, right? So content on JSON, we have both text and JSON, both. Content.json, okay. So this is how you read, okay. Now once you read it, I want to read it like a file handle, right? So I want to say file obj or something, okay. Now if you have to, so you're reading a file, right? You have to load the data, right? So I'm going to say content equal to file obj dot load. Since you're reading from file, you're saying load, not loads. Okay, load. Okay, and file object. Okay. Now to see the content, I'm going to say print content. Okay, list index out of range. That means we have made some mistake. Okay, this thing is not correct. What happened? Mhm. Let's do this. Let me close it. Let's go back and see if it is safely there. Okay, so yes, now you see we have ID, first name. Oh, see, there's 2 colon here. That could have been the problem. It wasn't a perfect JSON file, so it was not able to read like a JSON. Okay, again, there's a problem. Line 21. Okay, list order. Let's go back and see. ID, first name, last name, hobbies, age.
It's a comma.
Oh, what did I do here? Content equal to JSON.load. Okay, JSON will have function load. Okay. Let me cut it. Is it because of JSON or something else? Because of something else. I think we need to delete it. Okay. Maybe something is getting spoiled. So let's run it again. Yeah. So see this? The content is read like a dictionary here. Okay. So we'll stop here. We have seen what is JSON file format, right? And tomorrow we will look at load as, dump as, and then we get into database. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right, Shivam?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Any question before we wrap up?
No.
Yeah, I'll send you the code. Please practice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Chalo then.
Thank you.
Take care. No problem. Bye.